Hello everyone, welcome to Stardew Diaries. And today, um, there's some weird stuff going on. Um, there is the green rain. So, I think we're just gonna spend the entire day just exploring and seeing what's up, and chopping down some trees and, you know, getting as much as we can from this weird phenomenon. So, people that aren't familiar, um, Green Rain is basically like a special event that happens every year or so where um, things are green and all of the normal grass turn into some special kind of grass, and it's a perfect time to gather some additional supplies. But there's also lots of stuff happening in the village, so we'll try to explore around and you know see what's up. um I actually had a topic that I wanted to talk about today, but it's a little bit of a bad timing because of the green rain. Um it's actually me and my partner's 5th year anniversary today. And I wanted to talk about our relationship and um how it affects us, and how maybe perhaps there's some stuff that you can learn from our relationship when I start talking about it. But it is a bit weird that I am talking about that while there's green rain, I suppose. But anyways, here we go. So it's me and my partner's 5th year anniversary, and we originally started dating. Um, well, we first met in a group. Uh, it's called Furzu. It's like a dating app that's based in United States or something. I think most of its users are from there. It's pretty good. But we're fairly introverted, so it's a bit difficult for us. Um, and during that time, it was I wasn't even like a full furry at the time. It's just I'm aware of the furry, like I'm aware of what furries are. I didn't know that there was like a community or stuff like that, and I made like a very simple persona and and stuff like that, and I basically just tried it out and see what it's like, and basically that's where I tried like talking to a couple of people, and then I eventually met my partner, and our first dialogue was something along the lines of "Do you RP?" and and he said no or something like that, or yeah, and we made we made jokes about it because we think RPing is a bit a bit cringe. I'm so sorry if you like RPing. It's just I have a very different perspective on RPing. Obviously, I play D&D, and um um furry RP tends to be a little bit sexual, and that's not really my cup of tea. Um, so we made fun about it and fun about people that does it, and that's basically how we started talking. And then we moved over to Telegram, and then we moved to Discord. We played Minecraft, and that's how I basically got to know him. And but things were a little bit weird. After that, to tell you the truth, it's it's a bit it's a bit weird, honestly. Um, we were very unstable at the start of our relationship. Um, things were emotional, I have to say, and we didn't necessarily see eye to eye when it comes to everything, but um, ooh, so they're huddling here. Oh my gosh. So everyone's just hiding away from the rain because no one understands what this rain means. Anyways, our goal is to just get as much fiber and moss as humanly possible, because those are pretty rare, honestly. They don't come around too easily. So, and you know, um, so that's how me and my partner met, and it was weird. It was definitely weird. Um, to be fully honest, I was a little bit um I was pretty much the cause of the stress most of the time at the start of our relationship. But at the time, he's just not. Honestly, I feel he's not ready to be in a relationship at the time. He was so workaholic that he barely made any time for me. He was always tired. He was always complaining about work. But that's also something that I really loved about him. It's just he needs to find the balance between work and like a relationship and keeping me happy and stuff. But there were also some other things that we disagreed on. And um, let's just say, okay, I think it's okay to say it, but um, we eventually got into, because of our arguments, and because of like the missing stuff in our relationship. um, there was this another person that came in and had this idea that we weren't working out necessarily, and things are a bit weird between us. And this person, this friend of ours, had this idea that maybe we should try doing a poly relationship. And eventually, after a couple of months, me and my partner weren't necessarily doing very well, and our main problem was him not having enough time for me. And we basically tried it out, and it was actually going well for a while. We have this third person that was going, that was like fun to be around with. It's a little bit different from what our like preferences were. Me and my partner are definitely conservatives. We don't necessarily like open relationships and things like that. But during that time, I was again pretty emotional. Not particularly, you know, and it's my first relationship. I saw it as an opportunity to try things out. And not a lot of opportunities like that, happens. And basically, a couple of months passed by, and it was actually again doing sort of fine. Like it was fine. However, the third person was a little bit pushy, and as I mentioned, we weren't necessarily comfortable with the setup as well. Like it's definitely just an experimental phase. Um, I saw that there could something good could have definitely happened if if there were like better communication or like setting boundaries, stuff that I haven't learned at the time. And it's just, he wasn't necessarily, the third person wasn't necessarily like learning from us or like adjusting um with our preferences or like our choices. And it's obviously going to be two against one. And eventually they tried getting their way in the relationship, like not necessarily forcing us, but um he forced what he wanted, and that did not turn out well for him, unfortunately. And because of that experience, because of what they did, um me and my partner decided to just break up, as a poly relationship and between each other. And that was a very sad time. However, it didn't even take more than a day, when we realized that um, me and my partner actually did fairly fine during that poly relationship. And again, it would have worked until, except for the fact that the third person um, tried doing something that we were very uncomfortable with, and we did not appreciate it. And basically, we said, we were working fine. And even if we resolved the issue of like, our main issue was like we don't have much time for each other, and in a poly relationship there's like there's more than one person to spend time with, and it still didn't work. Like we still did not feel satisfied. um we basically said to each other that even if we get the most ideal scenarios or like ideal situations, still weren't able to resolve our problems. And because of that mindset, we basically told each other that we're never gonna be happy, but I still love you anyway. And we said we're just gonna give it a shot and like keep trying the relationship until, until work hard that we resolve our problems individually. And being a monogamous relationship is very easy to micromanage, or like not micromanage, sorry, to handle, like manage, I guess. I suppose that is the correct word. But it's not too stressful. Like you only need to worry about one single person, um, because my mindset when it comes to poly relationships is that a single partner can offer you so much fulfillment and like enjoyment, and sometimes even like sexual pleasures. However, it also is twice as difficult to maintain, because you're handling two other people's emotions, you're handling two sets of people, to like multiple goals, making sure that everyone's on the same page, setting boundaries. Are you an open relationship? Because by nature poly relationships are a little bit open, right? And it's hard to set that boundaries because people that try out poly relationships tend to be more emotion based, and that does not work for me. I actually still do believe that there's some value when it comes to poly relationships. Like imagine three men sharing a single house, all working, and like all earning. And in I'm so sorry about this, but this is my opinion. But men tend to be less high maintenance compared to women, and men can just you leave them in their computer all day and they'll be fine, and they'll find something to do. And when it comes to a poly relationship, three men just hanging out, they're like just three friends just hanging out. It won't There's no pressure, there's no like stress in the relationship, I think, at least personally. Like men are less finicky even if they're gay. And I'm so sorry, it's just in my opinion. I don't know, okay, I don't have any science to back this up, but it's just, I think it's very 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 fun. However, it's very very difficult to build as well, but that's just my opinion. It's something that me and my partner actually talk about sometimes. We're not opposed to the idea of the poly relationship. It's just by nature it's very very unlikely that we meet a person that shares the similar mindset that we have when it comes to a relationship, because again, we're very conservative people. And if you're a person that's looking for a poly relationship, naturally you won't be conservative, right? So you wouldn't fit. It's like a dilemma of some kind, if that makes sense. But anyways, we're so distracted. After our first year, we finally decided to meet on our second year, and that was such a special moment between us because we were finally getting somewhere. We were building our foundations in our relationship, what it means, what our goals are going to be, what's our plans in the future, things like that. At the time, I was still in college, so it wasn't exactly very easy for me to, just commit myself to him. So I still needed to finish college. And basically, there's a lot more emotional stuff going on, but basically, it's more stable than the first. Most of our problems during our second year is from friends and external factors, not necessarily within our relationship. There were some hiccups here and there, but it's mostly from other people. And on our third year, it's when the height of pandemic hit. Um, it's just me and him are talking about like what we'll do after college, and that's basically the time where I was, preparing the big moves, I suppose. I think I need to run home very soon. Last tree, because these trees are valuable. They give up a lot of money. Actually, maybe I should just collapse and not go to sleep. I mean, I'll take it. It's just there's so much value in green rain. But yeah, so but however, I'm not going to be able to do my outro very well. Let's try to cut down this last tree. Actually, I could just pause the game by pressing escape. But it does feel bad that I don't sleep, so I'll just run home. I think I can make it. So yeah, that's our third year. So after preparing and building our foundations, we were very stable on our third year. Well, actually, it's because of my school that we were pretty much stressed. And on our fourth year, it's basically me graduating and preparing for college, like exact call. Oh, I did not make it. I was already here. Oh, that's a shame. And um, it was a. I actually kind of forgot what happened there. I think we tried experimenting stuff again, but um, like tried to be a little bit open again, but didn't really work, and it caused more stress than good. It's because it's both of our first relationships, and I'm the kind of person, and this is my mistake. I'm the kind of person that wants to try out things and experiment and like see where it goes and see if it's something valuable for us or something meaningful. And sometimes trying too much hurts. Sometimes you just need to have a calm approach and not be too forward, I suppose. And I think after trying that out, I know that it's not gonna work, and I just reverted back to how it was, and I did apologize for it, but it was all in the past. And what am I trying to say here? And let's just wrap it up the story so I can talk about like my lessons. In our final year, I finally moved out. I moved with him. I finished college. I got a job, and he has a job, and we're very stable now. I'm doing a lot of stuff personally, and he's doing a lot of stuff personally. And we're trying to save up for a house now, things like that. So lots of long-term goals. So what is my message here? Um, Basically, relationships are filled with conflicts, emotional struggles, and things like that. But especially long distance plus long term relationships are very difficult to maintain. And mistakes are inevitable, arguments the same, and but all you always need to think about what both of you want at the end of the day. In my opinion, it's spending a couple of years, you know, unstable and learning, like building your foundations is worth it in the long run. Like I went through one of my most stressful years in school and college and stuff, and I'm already finished in that, and now the only thing we need to worry about is work. And I would say work right now is not as bad as college. So, um, you know, at least that's one less problem to deal with, right? And relationships aren't going to be pretty. I personally prefer long-term relationships, and and if you're into like short-term relationships, that's you know, good on you. Like, but that's definitely not gonna work for us, and I don't really know. I'm just a bit lost right now. Um, but yeah, it just healthy communication. Expect a lot of challenges, a lot of arguments, but as at the end of the day, you just need to really support each other, love each other unconditionally. If you have any doubts, then you just gotta think about them. Think about if this person is actually the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, things like that, and be also open to change and like um, growing yourselves. That's why I always preach, right? You always need to grow yourself, so that you're sure about who you are, and it becomes very easy for you to build that connection with another person. And I guess that's just it. Like me and my partner, we're not exactly the lovey-dovey romantic types, we're a bit cringe. We're a bit um we're a bit chaotic, I guess. We're closer to best friends than romantic partners at sometimes, and I think that's a wonderful thing. Um, some might argue that we're not, you know, um, like there's like three sides of love, like commitment, infatuation, and I forgot the other one, but like we're not like, fully infatuated with each other, but I think it's fine. I think our loyalty to each other, our faith, is strong enough to shoulder like the holes in our relationship. I do believe that there are still a lot of things that we need to work on, and nothing is ever perfect. And there could always be another person or a different person that can give us like a better fulfillment in life. But even if I met like the perfect person for me, um, they won't have the same amount of experience and like stress and like growth that me and my partner had gone through together. So you know, I would still love him unconditionally, and that's love, right? Being choosing each other, even if it's like difficult, even if it's challenging, even if it's hard. Just being there for one another, and yeah. Thank you so much. I've just been rambling on and on for all of the session. Thank you so much for listening anyway. If you can tell, I am very tired. And it's just Monday. So oh well, it's Tuesday now actually, sorry. But yeah. I hope you guys are having a good week so far. I hope you guys had a great start of your week. Um get some stuff done. Set yourselves up for a productive Tuesday. And hopefully Monday wasn't as stressful for you guys as it was for me. And yeah, you guys keep on pushing. And if you have like a long distance crush, it's hard, but it's very, very doable. It is possible. Just gotta put in a lot of effort into it. But yeah, thank you so much. All right, bye bye.